All right, so we will be starting our next session regarding the coaching stances of Agile transformation. In case anyone is moving to another track, please check. There are some flyers kept on the right-hand side table at the back. If you are interested, those are shared by the Toastmasters Club. Moving on to the next session by Tushar Parikh on coaching stances for Agile transformation. So a little bit about Tushar. He believes that Agile is really a way of life, a common sense approach to a complex organization.
Okay, thank you.
He is carrying 26 years of IT delivery and consulting experience in banking and financial services. As a safe practice consultant, he is leading Agile transformation in his current organization. He has conducted SAFE certification trainings for beginners and leadership level. Also, he is a professional coach from the International Coaching Federation, ICP PCC. He is very passionate about life coaching, and today we'll be hearing him on the various coaching stances for Agile transformation. So over to you, Tushar.
Please welcome our speaker, Tushar Parikh. The topic is coaching stances for Agile transformation. A brief about Tushar. Tushar is someone who really believes that Agile is the way of life, a common sense approach to complex problems. With over 26 years of IT experience in BFSI domain and currently playing a safe practice consultant, he's leading the Agile transformation in his org. He also has conducted SAFE certification trainings not just at the beginner level, but even at the leadership level. He's a professional coach from ICP with 900 plus hours of coaching and is very passionate about life coaching. Welcome, Tushar. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for the introduction. All right, so yeah, as we said, target was at least 15 people. We have more, so we are good to go. All right, so yeah, it is ICF, International Coaching Federation, from which I am a coach. All right, so thank you everybody for joining. Great to see so many people interested. I think we've all seen so many. We've been in Agile for, somebody said yesterday, 22 years, right? We all kind of doing that work. We do Scrum Master, we do coaching, we do a lot of this work, and it's now come to a stage where we want to see what else we can do or how we can get better at that role. So this is a little bit of a take at that on coaching. So when we say coaching here, it is Agile coaching, slightly elevated to bring in life coaching principles into Agile transformation. So that's the whole idea, coaching stance. How do we use life coaching idea and principles and mindset and stance or a posture for your Agile transformation? Okay, stand back. All right, thank you. So that's really what we are going to talk. So what roles do we have in the group right now here? Just if people can shout out what roles do we have? We have all coaches, or do we have other roles? Scrum, yeah. Product owner, Agile coach, yes. Agile coach, Scrum masters, yeah. Product owners, all these roles we are aware of, right? So in these roles, what are we trying to do? What do we do in our roles, Scrum master, Agile coach, product owners, when we are trying to work within the organization at the beginning or partway through Agile adoption? What are we trying to do actually? It's not a trick question like you did. We are trying to change the way of working. What else are we trying to do? We are helping become better. So you want to move from A to B, ways of working A, ways of working B, right? What else are we trying to do?
Help achieve outcomes quickly.
Help achieve outcomes, yeah. Help achieve outcomes that our organization or company wants to achieve, right? Sorry? Servant leadership, right? There's a way to achieve this transformation. So essentially what we're trying to do is transform, change, move things. It's not like status quo, we're doing our job and moving out. We're trying to change something, right? So we are in essence change agents, right? If I may coin ourselves a common word, we're change agents. We're trying to bring a change in what we are the way the organization is working and how it wants to change, right? So sorry, I'm going to refer to my notes, okay, a little bit, just so that I make sure I give you the right content. So what are we changing? What exactly are we trying to change in our roles? Mindset, culture, Anybody else? What are we changing? The way we work, how we deliver business value, right? So this is about what are we changing. Now who's at the center of these changes? People, customers, right? It's people. So we are talking about change in people. Changing, right? Changing from how they work to new ways of working, and in people. People are people, never easy, right? We all seen that. So what are the difficulties you face in dealing with people, trying to push change, bring change, cultivate change, facilitate change, resistance to change, adaptability, sorry? Fixed mindset, absolutely. You don't want to change. This is how we do, that's it, don't come and give me gyan, right? So what difficulties do you see? I'm good as I do, don't want to change, yes. Anybody else? Ego, yes. I am boss, this is my territory, you can't come and tell me in my territory how I should do things. Right? We see a lot of that. I think I've been part of it, and it's always an uphill task, how do we deal with these things. And that is where, we want to come in. So these are the kind of challenges probably we've seen. Yeah? Some of it you've probably faced. The expression also gives it away. Why do they want to change? One of the things I got was, the coach who's come in is not really connecting. He's speaking something. He's from a different planet. He doesn't understand the way we work. We do something very special, and this is not something that anybody else from outside can advise. Sometimes you find people are finding so many difficulties. They are saying, okay, I just need somebody to listen. Just listen to my problem. Don't give me, okay, do this, do that. Don't give me a solution. Listen to what my problem is, right? We're all facing these kind of challenges, right? Sometimes people are saying, I don't want solutions. Just be with me while I walk, right? While I take the steps. So, so in these challenges, the problem that we are trying to address is change in mindset, as somebody said, trying to bring up the change. And this change cannot be pushed. Just because the leader says, okay, from tomorrow you have to be agile. We can't suddenly be agile, right? Because people need to buy into what agile is, into the principles, into the change you're trying to bring. People need to be accepting of that change. And that is what, when we say mindset change, that is what it is about, right? How do we bring about that change? It's all easy. I have a lot of theory, this is all the process. Agile has a lot of safe, has lots of material. But how do you install that change? How do you bring the buy-in? How do you get people to actually buy into it? Because leadership saying is one thing, people accepting and wanting to change is a different thing. So how do we cross that kind of a barrier, right? That's what we are talking about. So that's where coaching comes in. And coaching, we all have so many agile coaches in the room. So when I'm referring coaching here, it's a little bit of a life coaching angle coming into this. How do we bring that principle into the ways of working, into how we effectively deal with people, right? That's what the topic is. So coaching as ICF, International Coaching Federation, is an organization that trains and that provides certifications for coaches. So life coaching, a little bit, probably a lot of you know, or most of you know, but it's a field of behavior therapy. It's a field where we as coaches go through intense training for 125 hours, at least at a PCC level. There are 3 levels. I'm PCC. So 125 hours of training and 500 plus hours of actually coaching to become a coach. So coaching is about where, if you look at the definition, a person or a coach partners with the client, who's your team or your person in front of you, in a thought-provoking and creative process, where you work with them and they are inspired to maximize their professional potential and personal potential. So basically you're with them in their journey while they change, right? You're holding their hands, you're walking with them while they go through the changes in the organization to adopt Agile or for any other change, right? So for me, right, I've become life coach and I've been doing Agile coaching for a long time now. So I try to bring that together. What does it mean for our world in Agile, right? All this coaching is good. So for me, Agile coach, we know what Agile theory is. We know how things should work. We know the safe principles. We know the great tools, etc. are available. And the other side, there is a team that wants to implement this. The ground challenges in the team are different. They have their own difficult problems. So what is a coach doing, right? Coach is holding the people. If you see the diagram, it's exactly that. You provide the theory, but you're not there. You can't say a change like this. You're facilitating people, helping them go through that change so that they can adapt principles to their on ground realities, right? That's what you're doing as a coach. You're working with them, you're helping them, you're being their coach to with them while they walk through the journey. You're helping them adapt Agile to the real life challenges that they are facing, right? And how does that happen, right? This is about mindset change. So coaching comes in as a skill, comes in handy for all our roles: Scrum Master, Agile coach, whatever role you're playing in as a change agent. This is where coaching skills can come in handy. For example, you need to have patience with them while they explore the solutions. You provide a safe environment to people while they experiment, while they fail fast, so people, if you expect them to fail and if you accept them to take that in their stride, then they need to have an environment where they can trust. That they can trust that, okay, I will not be harmed for failing, right? So you build that kind of an environment, so as a coach, so that your team can actually fail fast and do things that they want to do. A lot of this we have seen. What is coaching not, right? What is it not? Right? So on the bottom you can see it is not telling people what to do, right? It is not advising. It is also not offering solutions. Okay, do this like this, do that like that, because you know the theory and the principles. You don't know their real world as much as they do because they live it every day. So what you're doing is you're guiding them through it. You're not giving solutions, and you help facilitate the change while they bring their solutions. You help them be the best version of themselves while they are trying to change in the process, right? It's almost like you're building an incubation space for them so that they can change, right? That's what you're essentially doing. There's some examples, right? In my recent experience, there was a lead from engineering team who said, I said, okay, we should have, cross-functional team, and, there should be multi-skilled, one person should do testing, development, everything. So he's so been in the old school that he's like, oh, how can it happen? Who will sign off testing? Testing is supposed to be done by testing people. My engineering team will not do it. I don't have the bandwidth, and they don't have the skills, and they don't have the money. Who will sign off testing? Lots of problems he faced, right? So that is where we are seeing, like you said, block in people's mind. Okay, this is old ways of working. How do you get them from that thinking to a thinking where they can say, okay, let me try at least. Let me at least try. So to go from this place to that place is the journey. As a coach, you work with them to take, right? It's useful for conflict resolutions, right? So when you are having a conflict in your teams or between leaders, at different levels, how do you facilitate conflict resolution, right? This is where coaching skills come handy, where you get people to come together and provide that space so that they can actually talk about what really the issues are, rather than bringing in ego and, I'm department head and I'm CIO and all that kind of crap. So what this is trying to bring out is essentially coaching is a skill where you can up your game as a coach, as a Scrum Master. Even say if your already Scrum Master role is been recoined as a team coach, right? RT is called senior team coach, right? So that coaching angle has already come in. This is about breaking up those principles from life coaching into your day-to-day work, right? Okay, so what are we going to cover today? Just quick look at the agenda. We are talking about what is coaching. We'll talk a little bit about coaching skills. And we'll talk about ICF, the principles of ICF, competencies that are needed as a coach, right, for you to get to that coach. We'll do a little bit of role play. I'll need 2 volunteers. Please think in your mind. It's just a simple role play about a coach and a Scrum Master and a conversation to see how the coach is actually using his skills without giving solutions to help the process. We'll talk a little bit about a model. So coaching model is a model or a process you can use to structure the talk when you're working as a coach, and try to summarize it in terms of what is the net change in perspectives and what are the different roles that this can be utilized in, right? So that's really what we have. Any questions so far? I've been speaking. Any thoughts, any questions so far? Okay, good. So we'll move on. So what are we talking about here? What is coaching competencies, right? So here, okay. So these are the different competencies that ICF provides as a coach for a life coach. So so as life coach, what we do is we have one-to-one sessions or we have group sessions where we can help facilitate change or unblock people in whatever they want to achieve. That's the life coaching kind of space. But to do that, there's a lot of self-work that we have to put in. The 125 hours of training and 500 hours of coaching is to work on yourself so that you can be fully present for your team, for your client or whoever you're working with, right? So that self-work is very important, and this is what underlines the principles. So if you see, I'll touch on a few of them. There are 4 categories broadly. Demonstrate ethical practice. I think that is the base of everything we do. Every organization, is quite focused on ethics. So we focused on an ethical way to deal with our teams. The second one is important because where we are saying we want to go with an open mind, a curious mind, and flexible. So when we say open and curious, what are we saying? When our clients are talking to us or when our teams are talking to us, we want to be open to what their ideas are, rather than having some preconceived thought, okay, this is how it should be done, this is how I have seen it working, let's not experiment too much. You can say what you want, but I'll tell you how it is to be done. So we don't go with that, but we go with an open mind in terms of what is it that the team wants to do. So that because we believe that the team has the best knowledge or understanding of what is it that they want to change and how they want to change, we are going to facilitate that change, right? That's what we are doing. So we go with an open and curious mind. We establish and maintain agreements. This is about where we agree what is it that we are trying to do. As a transformation team, what is it that we are focused on? Trust and safety. We talked about building a safe environment. So how do you do that in your work? How do you bring about that safe environment, right? Any thoughts? Have you experimented with this? Building trust with your team? What examples you may have? How have you built trust with your team as a coach? Being unbiased, not taking sides. That one-on-ones. How do you do? I'm sorry? Listening more. Yes. Yeah.
Like connecting like team at like individual level also to
Right.
understand them so that they also open up and those can help in your like all these ceremonies and
Yeah,
that
sometimes
can,
they are shy to open up in a group. So
Group
you
environment.
have one-to-ones and make sure they are opening up, they're sharing. Get them to participate and be part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great point.
Tushar, maybe not fault finding or finger pointing in case a mistake is done,
Yeah.
rather than trying to find a solution.
Right. Focus on a solution rather than the problem, right? Somebody may have made a mistake. Great. No worries. Here, encourage, fail fast. So you failed, no problem. Let's see how we can deal with it. So these are ways you actually build a safe environment and an environment where they can trust each other. And Speed of Trust is a great book you must have read, son of Stephen Covey. He actually points out that if you have trust in your team and in your environment, speed of business goes 10x or a lot more than that, right? So that's what you build a trust. Maintain presence. What are we talking of presence here? What is presence? You are present physically, what's the problem? What is presence? What do you make of presence? Yeah, go ahead. Any thoughts? Being fully available, absolutely. When you say fully available, that means you're not thinking, okay, abhi ghar jaake kya karna hai, when am I going to exercise? I had too much calories. You're not preconceived, you're not preoccupied in your thinking. You're not thinking how will I reply. You're not thinking what I will tell my senior manager. You're completely present to the person or to the team that you're working with. And that itself has a healing effect, right? That itself brings in trust, that itself brings in a lot of safe environment because you're present. They believe that you're working in their best interest. Now that is absolutely moving for any team. I've felt it with my managers as well. If they are fully present and they are involved and they are working in the best interest of me and my team, it's amazingly motivating. It just motivates me to do a lot more than I can originally think of doing. Right? Absolutely, no mobile phones, no laptop, no distractions. I am valued. That's all we want, right? We all want to feel I am valued, right? We all feel that when we are in presence of people we trust, we feel valued. And that's what our team members want. We want them to feel valued for what they're doing. And that's by your presence and listening. Somebody also mentioned listening. Listening fully listening, fully being present. When you say listening, you're listening to what they're saying, they're listening to what they're not saying also. Their tone says something, their language says something, body language is saying something else. So you're listening to it completely. And sometimes if you feel there's a conflict, you can just reflect saying, I feel you're saying this, but you're not that interested. I see you're, folding your hands, or you're not interested. Your tone is saying something. What's going on? As a curious question, we ask them what's going on really when you call that out. So you're listening fully, completely. Yes, please.
Safety environment, the psychological safety. In these days, this word, this terminology plays a very important role. No one understands what is mean by that psychological safety perspective. How that will impact, on your productivity. It's just feeling safe, creating the safe environment. It's I would say the biggest responsibility being a coach, being a team coach, that you need to create that. So I just thought to add as a
absolutely. It's a great and it's not easy to create that. It takes.
It's not easy.
It takes a lot of self work.
Yeah.
To create an environment for your team. It takes work with yourself.
Yes. And in your day-to-day work with your one-on-one, these kind of environment it will help to create that thing. So giving the equal opportunity and try to hold each and everyone together to make a difference. So this
absolutely. I was reflecting on this yesterday when Rajshi ma'am talked about the space kids. What kind of environment is she giving the kids where they are able to be so creative to create a satellite? My God, it's just
because each and every individual has their own capability. You cannot underestimate anyone. Someone, a developer, how can come up with the idea or how can come up with the thought? No. Once you have the 360-degree view of the things, and when you talk around it, I never thought in that angle. So it's a good thought. Let's try to put it. So during our retrospective and those things plays important when you give the equal opportunity to each and every individual. Thank you.
Absolutely. I've always been surprised by the teams and the answers they come up with. So much that now I've humbled myself to saying, okay, let me just listen first. Teams have the most fantastic ideas because they are living this every day, right? We are not living, they are living. So the ideas they come up with is mind-boggling. We just have to listen.
Correct. So listening is the best capability. To adapt it over the period it comes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. Thanks for sharing.
Just to add, what Peter Drucker says is your team knows more than you, right?
Always.
So always listen to them, and you never know. You will get a lot of great ideas from them, which you can implement.
Yeah, the team always knows more than you.
Yes.
To take that as a baseline starting point. All right, we'll move on. Evoke awareness. Now, this is the thing which is stressed a lot in coaching, where you evoke awareness. What does it mean, evoke awareness, right? What we are trying to say here is team saying, okay, team brings a solution, they are brainstorming, some team members are active, some are not. Together they are storming, forming, all that they do, and they are very effective. Now, when you're evoking awareness means what? In your retrospective or in your one-to-one calls, you talk to them and say, okay, we moved from being X productivity to Y productivity. You've done well. What have you learned from this? You ask a powerful question. What have you learned from this? They'll say, okay, we learned. We did things well. These were the solutions we used. These ideas we implemented. What have you learned about yourselves as a team when you have improved your velocity or improved your productivity? So that gets them thinking about self-awareness, about their team's awareness. What have they learned about themselves? Somebody might say, okay, we have learned that we work very well together. We've learned that, this skill is fantastic with us and this is not fantastic. Or we've learned that, within us, we complement each other well. Or we don't complement each other well. We feel, somewhere this is a gap in us. So retrospectives are very effective with such powerful questions. You evoke awareness. You ask them to think so that they can be more aware of what they are and what their team is. Now, this is extremely powerful because this goes a very long way. It doesn't stay only with them. It doesn't stay only as a team. then people reflect on themselves, what am I doing right, what am I not doing right, what can I do more, or what am I good at, what am I not good at. And that, when they get that learning, that goes a long way beyond just the team. It goes into their personal lives, it goes into how they work, how they can be more effective, etc. So evoking awareness is a great tool or a great way of asking questions, where you get your teams to think how they can be better or what they are doing well, to recognize themselves, to understand themselves better. If the teams understand themselves better, they are complementing each other better, fantastic, efficiency is only going to go up. So evoking awareness. So a lot of this, right, what we do, we facilitate client growth. Or in this case, client, we can talk about agile team or our set of our team member. We are focused on getting the best version of themselves, of them doing the best that they can, and there's no limit to that, right? We all know that. There's people surprise themselves and the company about what they can do. So we are working in the best interest of our team, and that is the kind of environment and the ethos we want to build, right? Okay. Any thoughts? I'm going to move on. One thing I wanted to mention, so one of the things we also do in using these principles is we walk with them while they go through the journey, but we also walk with them when they are going through challenging situations. Let's say there is a HR complaint somebody is made in the team, bro. It's a difficult situation, puts everybody in a disarray, oh, we were working well, what happened? Or somebody raised a posh case, it's a problem, how do we deal with it? So in these difficult situations also, we are working with them as a coach, so that they can deal with it and the person affected can deal with it, and it doesn't affect your team dynamics. So I think it's walking with the team in the good and bad times, so that they continue to evolve and get better as a team. So to mention that. All right. We talked about. Okay, so the next one for me is a role play. We need 2 volunteers. How are we doing on time? 40. Okay, so 2 volunteers, please. Just anybody, 2 people. If you can just come up here. I have a sheet. You need to read from it. One of you would be a coach. One of you would be a scrum master. This is a conversation between a coach and a scrum master to see how coaching happens in action. Yeah, please. Thank you. Be tight on time, but let's see. What do you want to play? Scrum Master, coach? Scrum Master. Yeah, you're Scrum Master. You have a longer script. You're a coach. Yeah. So I'll tell you how this will work. You need to use the mics. This is a conversation between a coach and a Scrum Master. Scrum Master starts off. Your first one. You speak. There are numbers given. You speak first, then you speak the response to it.
Yep.
Okay. Is that okay?
Okay. Any context?
It's okay. The context. Context is that there's a Scrum Master. He's facing a challenge in the team's ability to meet commitments. Right. That's the problem he's facing. And now this is a conversation that the Scrum Master is having with the coach with this problem as a context. Okay. All right. Good. So yeah. Then you can put in your own drama skills if you like.
I like that.
Do that. Yeah. Let's go.
Check. My Scrum team has varying skill levels that's impacting my team's ability to meet sprint commitments. What shall I do?
Okay, so what do you want to talk today about this particular challenge in detail? Your name? What's your name?
Sorry, yeah,
I can take a
your
name as
please?
well. Anurag, Pankaj.
You're Pankaj?
Yeah.
Sorry, your name is for the audience.
Yeah, my name is Pankaj. So Anurag, what do you want to talk about today?
Hey Pankaj, thanks for empathizing. I would like us to meet our commitments in each sprint. So today I want to talk how to get there.
Mike.
Okay. Looks like this issue is impacting you for quite some time. Can you please share, Anurag, what is your goal?
Sure, Pankaj. Well, many reasons, but key one is we are not sure we will complete our feature delivery in time, as we are not meeting our commitments. Also, our burn-down charts are not looking good, and my team's morale is low. as other teams seem to be achieving their commitments.
Oh, okay. Uh, what makes it important to focus on this particular issue now?
See, Pankaj, when we estimate the stories or epics, the lead does the estimates with some consideration for low level skills. But when we start the delivery, the junior developers need a lot of hand holding. So, invariably, we miss our commitments.
Okay. That makes me probe you a little bit more here. And let me ask you, Anurag, how do you think these varying skill levels are impacting with respect to meeting the commitments?
See, Pankaj, I will give you an example. There was once when the lead was off, the team had to do their own estimates. They struggled and gave really conservative estimates. Even in that sprint, they would not have met their commitment. But since they had themselves given the numbers, I, along with the team, pushed them a bit harder and almost achieved the target.
Okay. And has there been any time when commitments were close to being met?
No, they are not Salman Khan. And the junior members seems to be quiet most of the times. Once a member mentioned he did not give the estimate, so he should not be held accountable to meet the target.
And then what do you think what's really going on here?
It feels like probably the junior teams are not really involved except to take direction from lead. And since there is no involvement, there is no commitment to the target.
Okay, what else?
Let's see. This in turn is increasing dependency on the lead, that without which it is not helping the team in the long term.
Okay, then is it fine if I can add a point from what I see?
Sure.
Agile estimation model expects all members to discuss and understand the requirements. Following that, all are expected to estimate the full work involved, that is, developers, testers, all should estimate together for all the work to complete the feature. This pushes each member to understand the requirement. They also feel more committed to achieve the target as they also given their commitment.
Okay, Pankaj, I understand now. Lack of participation from team is impacting their morale as well as their ability to estimate better. This is probably leading to missed commitments.
And anything else you get, Anurag, from this discussion?
Yeah, Pankaj, each team member should be encouraged to ask questions, understand what's needed. In fact, I will ask the lead to not participate in the estimation for a few sprints. That might help them build the confidence. Also, it doesn't matter if the commitment is low, but it's important to build the culture of meeting commitments.
Okay, and how are you going to make sure that this happens?
That's a very good question, Pankaj. I think I will talk to the team first to explain the process and the rationale behind it. I will also ensure all team members have an opportunity to understand the requirements or story. We will have a mock estimation drive for current sprint, so everybody understands what we need to do more correctly. Then we will implement this process from next sprint.
Sounds great. You have done a great reflection on the issue on hand. Is there any other aspect you want to explore, or are we good for now?
So the conversation we had, I will record this point in our retrospective Kanban and track it for next few sprints.
Sure, let me know. I'll be happy to join and guide wherever needed. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Pankaj. Now, no, we are good for now. Let me do this much first and see. This is a great approach for running retrospectives. I will probably experiment with it in the next meeting. That's great. Thanks a lot, Pankaj.
It's my pleasure.
Round of applause for these guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks so much. Very good. Thanks so much. Thanks, Pankaj. Yeah. All right. So what do we see in this conversation? Any observations? Yeah.
This is a true demonstration of. Yeah, this is a true demonstration of powerful questioning without being prescriptive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Powerful questions is what coaching is about. You know, it's very simple. You ask questions, but you ask questions by listening to your team, by being present, by giving a safe environment. You ask powerful questions so that you can see what happened here, right? Any other inputs? What did you notice in this? Yes, please.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so see in our family also we preach, right? पहले सुनो फिर सोचो फिर समझो और फिर बोलो, right? So same thing, right? You need to first listen, then you understand what you've listened, right? And then you think about it, and then you try to, just let them express their feelings and then navigate their thoughts to the solution, right?
Absolutely. And so the coach did not give any solutions, right? All he said was, okay, agile theory is this, and he was listening and he's helping the scrum master find his own solution to the problem, right? Okay, all right. So I think interest of time, time is always short in these presentations, I don't realize. Okay, great. So I'll move on. If you want to reflect, please reflect on the conversation. We can have a chat a little later on as well. So a coaching model gives you, a grow model is very common. There are many other models available in the market. But what does this do? Any model, what it does is your coaching conversation you're having with your team or your team member gives you a structure, right? How do you go about this conversation? Just talking doesn't help, right? What is the structure? So you first define a goal, GROW, goal, reality, options and action. So you first define what are you trying to achieve. That's what happened in the beginning of the conversation when they said, what are you trying to achieve? What is the problem you're trying to solve? Let's conceptualize that first. Then let's talk about what is the current reality, what are the issues on the ground, what is happening. And based on that you talk, okay, now what solutions you may have, which is the options, you explore the options for the solution. And towards the end, what is the call for action, what are the action that you're going to take. So GROW, if you use this very simply, it's all PDCA end of the day, plan, do, check, act. This is a model, but end of the day your conversation needs a structure and this gives you a structure, right? So this slide gives you a few examples of what can be such powerful questions in GROW. You can look at them. Some of them I really like. If you could start all over, what would you do? If you were given a magic wand, if you could start all over, what would you do, right? Or what does success feel like for you? What is the end goal? What are you looking at, right? So great questions. A lot of these questions available on internet as well. It's the ability to ask these questions. When you're connected, when you're in the conversation, then you know which question to ask. Otherwise you can't. But the end of the day, your job is asking powerful questions to bring about transformation, right? Change in perspective is what you're trying to bring about. As a coach, you're trying to bring in a change in perspective of your team so that they can change from current ways of working to new ways of working. And this is, a lot of it is facilitation. A lot of it is not mentoring. You're not giving solutions. You're not saying, I'm the subject matter expert, this is how you do. But you're coaching them through the process, right? This, I hope you get the cartoon there. The guy on the land feels, finally there's a ship. And the guy in the ship feels, I'm lost, finally there's some land. It's a change in perspective, which is the perspective you're taking with your team. And lastly, just quickly talk about what are the different roles this can be applied in, right? As a Scrum Master, coach is always there, but as a people manager with your team member, you can apply in your one-to-ones. Use these coaching skills to improve your conversation. You can use it as a leader if you have direct reports, if you are a CIO or whatever leadership role you are playing. This can be used to have an effective conversation with your teams. And any peer-to-peer. Coaching is not limited to, okay, you have a session and a team and all that. Even a 10-minute on a coffee table can be a coaching conversation where you talk to people saying, okay, what's the problem? Okay, what are you doing about it? Okay, what other options do you have? What else? And what are your solutions? It can be a conversation anywhere, but it's having the mindset, it's having the stance. If you are having a coaching stance in your mind and in your approach, then it can be effective in multiple roles, as you saw this here. So lastly, this is a great book, Coaching Habit. Most of you may have read it, but it gives you 7 questions, very powerful questions to use, and it gives you a process on how you can bring about this coaching change. I also conduct this training in corporate or anywhere. If people are interested, you can connect back with me. There's a much more detailed workshop on these topics that we've covered. These are a few more powerful questions, for reference, but you will get this on Google as well. And lastly, these couple of books I have found very transformative for myself. First one is In a Game of Tennis. This is where it talks about how you can get out of your own way to be the best version of yourself. It's self 1, self 2, 2 personalities in all of us. Self 2 is your auto mode and self 1 is your critical mode, always stopping you. So if you trust self 2, then you're amazing, So that's a great book. And this last one is Dare to Lead. Again, talks about vulnerability and leadership, on how you need to be vulnerable, how you can be vulnerable to be effective as a leader. So amazing books. I have found these very useful. Again, all of this needs work on yourself, right? So to help you work on yourself, these are all great references. And that's it really from me. I think a little bit, couple of minutes on. Any questions?
Thank you, Tushar. If you can bring the last slide.
This is the last slide, yes.
Yeah, I mean the mentee.
Oh, okay.
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 All right. Please everyone give feedback for the session. And thank you so much, Tushar, it was quite insightful.
Thank you.
We are breaking for the lunch in some time, but before that, let me ask Mrs. Sharvari ma'am from Agile Waters to felicitate Mr. Tushar.
Okay, so questions we'll take offline then.
Yeah, so you can utilize the lunch break for the questions. And before we disperse after the felicitation, please do visit the Agile Sphere. Let's have a big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharvari ma'am.